everybody. This is the hopefully the first podcast that we do for Love Doll UK. We had a couple of guests lined up today, but there's a bit of an issue, a bit of technical issue, and so that's kind of on a back burner right now. But I've been kind of putting this off for a long time, and I thought, you know what, we've got to just go ahead and do that. So I'm just recording some audio right now. I have no idea what I'm going to say, and I have no idea how it's going to come out. So this may get released, or this may just be a pure trial for my own sort of for my own efforts and peace of mind. Okay, so the question is, what are we actually going to talk about? Again, I have no idea. So let's have a look at the website. Let's start. And I tell you what, actually, let's start with a good place. And one of the best places is the news. That's something that I definitely want to talk about. The news and everything that's going on right now. Because if you look at any of the news stories that we get through, and we get a ton, we keep an eye on everything that goes on, and it's all absolute utter garbage. Really, I think it just really reflects what does it reflect? Does it reflect the media's desperation, or does it just reflect the state of media in general? In that, they have a set of headlines in their mind already. They know everything they want to say in every story they want to say, and they will find somebody who will say that for them. Just looking here, a current one that's doing the rounds at the moment is there is a robot sex doll brothel, which claims to be the first consensual sex one where, I think you have to get their permission or something. Okay, I mean, that's a good idea. That's something that's probably going to happen in the future. Personally, I kind of think that there will come a point where they will reach a certain level of sentience. They may pass us, they may not. Where it may actually be necessary to do that and to actually ask that. How far that is off, initial instinct is to say that that's 50, 100 years off. But with the exponential increase in technological advancements, that could be 5 or 10 years. But okay anyway. In theory, that is a possible thing. But the fact of the matter is that there isn't a single doll or doll company out there who've created anything that is anywhere even close to, first of all, being able to, you could have a recorded message that says I consent, but it couldn't in any way, shape or form comprehend anything that was said. So, so it's fictitious nonsense at the moment. But it writes an article, and I think that's what we're seeing, the crossover between articles which have any element of truth into fiction, and that's what a lot of us want these days. I think we want a lot of escapism, and we want some fiction. And if these stories weren't selling, people wouldn't be buying them. But from a person who's sort of in this industry and can see what absolute utter nonsense every other story is, it's a bit annoying. It's a bit laughable. It's a bit, you've just got to be realistic about these things. Okay, but so let's have a look at the advert, they're saying a private session will cost such and such, so the whole robot brothel thing's huge. We had our own little bits of involvement in that, which got, blown massively out of proportion and backfired for us. But they are saying, somebody's raising an Indiegogo things, so they somebody got a great idea. They're going to run this sex doll brothel where consent is there, and they will be in situations where they can withdraw their consent. Okay, that's great. But obviously these people don't have any money to do it, but they've got this great idea, and that's a common theme, which I see a lot of. So they want everybody to give them money, so they can make this idea, this plan, this idea come to fruition, and it's crazy. I can understand the concept of wanting to start a sex doll brothel. I can understand the concept of wanting to raise finance to do that, but to have as your catch and your hook that you're going to offer. You're going to offer a consent model, that's crazy. Yes, it's a hook. It's going to sell papers, but it's not practical right now. Okay, so next story, something we commented on the other day. The first sex robot was conceived in ancient Greece. I mean, God, I mean, how much of a stretch is this? Okay, I mean, I think the story was something about how supposedly the gods created statues of themselves or of other people um, so that the mortals could look at them and fantasize about them. And yeah, and I get the connection there, because you've got a stone statue, or you've got a mannequin, or you've got a movable sex doll. It's all kind of the same thing where we're creating puppets, we're creating statues of these dolls, of these images of women and men. And now, where the hell the sex robot thing comes into the connection of ancient Greece, I mean, if I had to really think, you would think, okay, maybe they used their imagination, or maybe they were a bit crazy, or maybe they were a bit stoned, and they could actually conceive or see the stone statues moving, and there's some kind of parallel there. Personally, I think it's just anything that can coin the phrase sex robot and stick it on top of any possible story. That's more likely what it is. Okay, so that is let's see, some more stories. I mean, we've commented on a lot of these ones. Festive treats at the dock this month. How do you make a film about a life-size love doll ordered through the internet into a life-affirming statement of hope? I think that's talking about Lars and the Real Girl. I think that was what it was called, that movie, which was an incredible movie. Sex dolls aside, great actor. I think the guy's great, But yeah, what an absolutely fantastic movie in which, and it did actually. I mean, it did a very, very good job of kind of capturing the whole essence of the whole sex doll industry. There you have somebody who, he's a bit of a lonely guy, and if I remember right, I can't remember. I could be making this up, but did his wife die or something? Or did he have an issue with his mother or something? There's some kind of issue there, and he gets one of these, and he knows it's not real, but he kind of treats it so real and makes it so real. Is it almost a conscious effort at self-treatment? And I mean, wow, the bravery on this guy to, go around and introduce her, and then the wonderful thing about the community, how they all supported him in that. And that's a very good thing. And it's, in this case, a lot of guys are sometimes they're embarrassed about what they're getting. Sometimes they're even ashamed. Sometimes we hear of accidents where family members find out, and sometimes that goes great and it's off the chest, and that goes wonderful and the family's supportive. Sometimes it goes horribly wrong, or it creates a lifetime of embarrassment which is never mentioned again. And I mean, what a horrible feeling for that person who is, they've got a bit of they've got a bit of something missing inside of them, and they're using this to either fill that hole. They're using a doll to fill that hole, or they're using it as a transition step to move on in their life. Like Lars did in the movie. And to be judged for that by anybody, and especially by a relative, and I know why that happens, because people have these very fixed notions about sex, and especially in the UK, we have that British prudishness, and we're told to think that sex is terrible and anything out of the normal is terrible. But for me, I always have complete admiration for any guy who goes down this route, who takes steps to challenge some of their own sort of thoughts and feelings, and start the healing process. And whether they know that that's what they're doing or not, or whether it's just a desire for sex, but they're acting that out in what people may not consider normal, but it's certainly healthy, and it's certainly no harm to anybody. I really don't think we should be judging anybody who does anything like that. And I think if we were honest about it as a society and as a community, all titillation and jokes and all of this media rubbish that's been created around it, it's got to be a good thing. It's got to be a good thing for anybody to work through their emotions in whatever way they use it. And as I see it, using a sex doll as a tool, that for me is a fantastic way to go for it. And I It would be nice, and it's happening. A lot of the judgment is going away, and a lot of these negative headlines in the media also have a positive effect in that they are increasing awareness for people. So, and once the titillation dies down, it will have the positive effect of it not being so much of an issue, because it's out there, and any new idea is shocking to people. But once it's been out there for a little while, it'll ease things. So I'm not knocking completely the media; they've got their job to do, and they're doing what they do. Sometimes I kind of scratch my head and think, what on earth? Where's the link? But it's topical for them. But I do also thank and praise them because they are raising awareness of something that's it's a great thing for humanity, I think. And maybe that's too far, or maybe if the people think, well, that's a bit too far, but I mean, I do actually think that that's the case. All right, let's have a look and see if there's any more news headlines. Yep, same one. Yeah, this was a popular one recently. I didn't see this one, but a mum sent a 5-year-old to school to do a nativity with a sheep, but it was actually a sex doll. Honest mistake. I think let's have a look at the story. But honest mistake, the woman's gone on and she's just ordered probably a sheep on eBay or something like that, and it's turned out to be that way. And I mean, how that ever got to becoming news is beyond me. Because if that was in a school, and a teacher found that or something like that, they would just say, oh dear, you know what I mean. We better sort of put that to one side, and we better tell the mother when she comes later on, and, just keep it sort of low key. Now, maybe obviously gossip and things like that, and it kind of got mentioned around, and the story kind of got spread. Somebody posted it on Facebook or something because they thought it was funny, and then, maybe that way, then the media got a hold of it like that. Maybe that's the way it happened. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. How am I going to explain this to his teachers? I'm mortified. Yeah, okay, but let's kind of get over it. It's not, it's funny. It's quite funny, but it's no big deal.